Yes, sir. Now today we gonna talk about Yella Beezy, man. So apparently yesterday it came out that his mother passed away. Right, Dallas artist, and you see him right there in the red room. And he was just on trial for the involvement in the murder of MO3. So he was part of that play. He was part of that MO3 play. That Lil Boosie play, that Rainwater play. And the trial is set to begin next month. He has a pre-trial hearing slated for January 16th. The trial date is scheduled for February 2nd. And then we hear yesterday that Yella Beezy's mother passes away. Reportedly passed away, according to TMZ. So you already know when TMZ put it out, it got some sacrifice energy on it. Let me see the TMZ article. Denied murder bond. I want to see an article on it. And she was 72 years old. She was 72 years old. Like the Jesuit order. Right? She was 72. Let's go ahead and put our ciphers on. Because we know that this rap industry is ran, this entertainment industry, politics, media, everything that hits mainstream media is ran by the Jesuit order, aka the Society of Jesus. All right, so we got 72, right? Marquise DeAndre Conway. 116, that's when his trial begins, January 16th, right? Well, his pre-trial hearing is slated for January 16th, 1/16, just like his real name, Marquise DeAndre Conway, equals 116. We got 157, 41. 157 and 41 like Kobe Bryant. 157 and 41. And what's so funny? Today is January 13th. Today that we happen to be talking about this is January 13th. Marquise 113. Even Marquise name equals 113. The number for dishonesty. All right, the number for dishonesty, 113. Dishonest, 113. Not true, 113. Not factual, 113. So, and then that 157. So yes, this is the number for dishonesty. Right, 113. Fiction, 113. When you lie in court, it's called perjury. That's 113 as well. So we can see that words that deal with deception and not being honest are tied to the number 113. Right, and his rap name, Yella Beezy. 118. 33. So we gonna see about it. We're gonna look at these days. And then it was his mother. It was his mother, 83, 34. As he's 34 years old, his mother passes away. Right? As Yella Beezy is 34 years old, his mother passes away. when mother equals 34, right? The rapper's mother, rapper 34, murder 34, right? So the rapper's mother was murdered when the rapper was 34. So it happened yesterday. So that was January 12th, like 112. The number for dishonesty again, 112. And that's also another name for skull and bones. Skull and bones, 322, in order 322. The other name is the Brotherhood of Death, right? And that's when his mother died on January 12th. So, and she was 72. So let's take the days in hospice care for natural causes, they saying. I wonder what's her name. Just weeks. He probably went to the voodoo lady. That's part of the game. Yeah, they on to it. People know what's going on, man. Sacrifice if he beats the case. Yeah, they know it's coming. They know it's coming. Everybody see what's coming now. You see what I'm saying? This on Facebook. It's just a random post I looked at on Facebook, and these are the top comments, and everybody on to it. Everybody see what's going on, man. It's not no secret no more. It's not no secret no more. So if we take Yella Beezy, so we're going to show you how this industry operate when these people lose somebody very close to them, especially when they got a court case coming up. It's always something that's going on at the time that they lose somebody. Same thing with Young Thug when everybody was dying around him. October 21st, 1991. And then yesterday, right? So let's go here. 83 days. So his mother died 83 days after his birthday. His mother, 83. More importantly, Brotherhood of Death, 83. His mother died 83 days after Yella Beezy's birthday. Brotherhood of Death, 83. Mother, 83. His mother was murdered, 83. Right? Then we get 11 weeks and 6 days. That's when his trial, that's the same parallel to his trial. His pre-trial begins January 16th. That's his full name. Marquise DeAndre Conway equals 116. Marquise DeAndre Conway, aka Yella Beezy, real name, equals 116. His mother dies 11 weeks and 6 days after his birthday. And his pre-trial for the death of MO3 is on January 16th. Right? So now we got Skull and Bones. Because his mother died on the 2nd month and 23rd day of Yella Beezy's age. Just like Skull and Crossbones equals 223. Even the Jesuit order equals 1223. And then remember, she was 72 years old. Remember, she was 72 years old. But more importantly, that 223, man, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, man. Order 322. And Skull and Bones gets this from, right? This order 322 right here. Now, where they get this from is Genesis 3:22. God observes that humanity, having eaten from the forbidden tree, now knows good and evil, and to prevent them from eating from the tree of life and living forever in their fallen state, decides to expel them from the Garden of Eden, guarding the way to eternal life. The phrase, like one of us, often sparks discussion about the Trinity or angelic beings, because God said that man has become like one of us. So he was talking to somebody else. He was talking to somebody else as well when he was talking. You see what I'm saying? God has become like one of, he said us, 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 us. So it was somebody else he was talking to. You see what I'm saying? It was other individuals that he was talking to, right? So 322 reminds us the morality of life due to man knowing the knowledge of good and evil, right? So these rituals, these sacrifices link to Skull and Bones, aka the Brotherhood of Death. That's why it happened on January 12th, like the Brotherhood of Death, 112. You know that R&B group that was signed by Diddy? They was called 112. They was signed by Diddy, and their first album, it was 112, right? Then they had another album right after that called Room 112. Room 112, man. That's the room. That's the ritual room. That's the Brotherhood of Death, man. It's Room 112. And that's the day that Yella Beezy grandmother died. I mean, excuse me, not his grandmother, but his mother died on January 12th. January 12th. Well, come on. All right, because we got 83. We got 40 weeks and 2 days. So there goes the 42. That's linked to black people. Right? Blacks. 42. Racial slur. 42. Slavery. 42. Black History Month. February. 42. That's when his trial. They say that's when his Yella Beezy trial date has been scheduled for the second day in February. So let's see that. Let's take this ritual right here to February 2nd, which is the 33rd day of the year. So that's why it begins. So yeah, he gonna beat that trial. It's a Masonic ritual, and it's exactly 3 weeks. It's exactly 3 weeks after the death of his mother is when his trial begins on the 33rd day of the year. So yeah, man. Yeah, he sacrificed his mother. Masonry equals 42 and 33. Right? And that's the first day that his trial begins. Yella Beezy. Yella Beezy equals 33 in the Chaldean cipher. The Chaldeans believe that numerology leads to your path in this life. So that's why they put the rapper, they use the rapper name. Use the rapper name to path his destiny. Yeah, he gonna beat this case. 3 weeks, 21 days later. 21 days later, like Jesuit. 21. Then you see the 42. 42. The number of the universe. If you watch the movie The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they talk to a supercomputer, right? And they ask that supercomputer, what's the answer to life and everything? And the computer simply answers 42. And the crowd was so confused, right? They were so confused. Because then they didn't understand the question.
And best to design and build a
deep thought. We want you to tell us the answer.
The answer to what?
The answer to life, the universe, everything. We'd really like an answer. Something simple.
I have to think about that.
Something simple.
Return to this place in exactly 7.5 million years.
7.5 million years. So she told him to come back in 7.5 million years. Right? So, okay, let's come back in 7.5 million years.
To the ultimate question.
7.5 million years later.
Life, the universe, and everything is 42.
Look at the response. Think deep. Think deep. They telling you to think deep. So the computer that they talking to, right? And 7.5 million years later, she told you that it was 42, right? And it was a computer. A computer, right? That they was talking to about this. And the computer's name was Deep Thought 42. Right? Mankind 42. And mankind was made on the 6th day, right? Mankind equals 66. Right? 42. 4 plus 2. 6. So yes. Yes, Yella Beezy gonna beat this trial. I have no doubt about it in my mind. Let's see. So it's scheduled January 16th. That's when the pre-trial. So if we take the pre-trial to the first day, it's a span of 17 days. Right? Like God, 17. Rap, you know, because this is all about him being a rapper, you know, this case. So yeah, I believe that's all we got. When did MO3 die? November 11th, 11/11/2020. Mo3 equals 11. He died on 11/11. Black equals 11/11. This is his whole name. 191. Like Society of Jesus. Society of Jesus. So they kind of showing you who Jesus is. I'm not saying these people, but they're figuratively using these people to represent Jesus, right? So you have to see what they're telling you. And then 142, 163, Marvin Noble, and his last name is Noble. You see these names of the people that's always the ones that get sacrificed. Melvin 33, Noble Jr. 113, Dallas 113. These are Dallas rappers. Noble 24, 42, 21. You're gonna see the same numbers with these people, man. So let's take November 11th 2020 to January 12th 2020. We get 1,888 days. You get that 288. But I think, okay, let's see. Okay, and then let's see when the trial begins. So take it to Mo3's death to the first day of the trial, right? Which is the 33rd day of the year. And then look at the day that Mo3 died, the 316th day of the year. So yes, he was the sacrifice. John 3:16. John 3:16. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. So then that's why these people get sacrificed on these certain days to the Society of Jesus. So Mo3 was the Jesus archetype, right? The person that gets sacrificed is always the one that's being marked as Jesus, if you will, in this ritual. and then he's the one that gets sacrificed. And then you see the day that he gets sacrificed on, the 316th day of the year, just like John 3:16. So then there's the 223 on the 5th year, 2nd month, and 23rd day, skull and crossbones. Then we got that 191. We got the 191. The span between MO3's death and MO3's the trial for MO3's death. A span of 191 basically. That's MO3's name. Melvin Abdul Noble Jr. equals 191. And that's a direct link to the Society of Jesus. Right? That's why it begins on the 33rd day of the year, when Jesus died at the age of 33. Right? To complete this whole Jesuit ritual. So yeah, this was the sacrifice that MO3 gave in order to beat this trial. Right? That begins on the 33rd day of the year. I believe that's all we have for this video, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments, man. Appreciate y'all for all the love. Appreciate y'all for all the support. And I'm out.